Hi, welcome to Shawano County Gardening Tips with Nancy. Today we are going to talk about preserving the food that you get out of your garden. Over the years there has been several different ways. Technology is always changing. Some prefer just to go back to the basics. The first one I'm going to talk about is water bath canning. By water bath canning, what you do is you have this big pan. And then you'll see on the inside of it, we have this big rack. So what you do is you take and you put your produce into your canning jars. Like I do pickles every year. This is a big thing for my family. So what I do is I fill the pickles in the jar, I make up my brine, I put my garlic and my dill in there, and then I set these in the tray as it sits on top of the pan. And then it'll just hold there. And then you just keep adding your jars. Now your pan is filled with hot water. So when you have 6 jars in here, you slowly drop this down in and you put the cover back on. You're gonna boil that. Look up recipes for it. Each one is different as to how long you hot bath them. You just boil that for the length of time that it states in your recipe, and then when they're all done, you take them out. They have canning jar tongs that you can use, and you lift them out of the hot water like this. Each canning jar has a lid and a ring. You can buy these at any store. They come in a box, and they come with your ring and your lid both. This lid has a rubber seal on it, and what the hot bath does is when it's in there, it takes and pulls that air out and seals it. So when you have your canning jar sitting on your counters, you're gonna hear pop, 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 and that's going to be your canning jar sealing. They used to use pressure canners. Some still use pressure canners. I don't prefer that. Because explosions happen with them. This was one that my mother-in-law just so happened to have down in our basement that I found. So you can see the difference between a hot water bath and a pressure one is we have a gauge on the top here because the pressure is going to build up inside of the pan. And then when the pressure gets to a certain point and for so long, then your items are done in here. Same concept, you use the canning jars as well. I've used canning jars for homemade maple syrup. My son-in-law made some of that, and we use canning jars and just did the hot bath. You can do freezing. Freezing is pretty much self-explanatory. You take your produce, you wash it, and then you blanch it. By blanching, you're just gonna put it in hot water for just a minute or two to kill any bacteria on it, and then you're immediately going to submerge it in ice water. That stops the cooking process on it, and once you have it in ice water and the items are cooled down, then you're going to put them on cookie sheets and put them straight in your freezer. Once your produce is frozen, then you can take it off of your cookie sheets and put it into baggies. Another item, another way of preserving is going to be dehydration. I do this a lot with a lot of different things. I have taken regular onions that I have grown in my garden, and I have chopped them up so that they would fit on the trays. I have, for this dehydrator, I have 5 different trays, and I lay them on the trays until the tray is all full, and then I plug it in, and it usually takes about a day or 2 for the onions to dehydrate. I've also done green peppers. Same process, you cut them up, and then you put them in here to dehydrate. Now, dehydrators do come with a shield, a little plastic shield that you can put over this so that when you do your vegetables, like onions and your smaller ones, they don't fall through the holes that are in here. So those are a few. Fermenting is another one, and a lot of people do this when they do eggs. They'll do fermented eggs. Basically all it is it's a brine with vinegar that you use, and you put this in the brine, and then it preserves the food with the brine because of all the salt and stuff that's in the brine. It preserves it. So those are just a few of the ideas that you can use for preserving your garden. Always check online. There's always items available there for recipes. Check the Shawano County Library. We have a bunch of stuff in our gardening section on preserving and canning for your garden. Please come check us out, and we'll see you soon.